Hey guys, welcome back to another segment of A2D, Agree to Disagree. All right, so we are done with week 5, and it's time to start getting into trends and reactions and, going forward. And we're going to talk about reactions and rumors and everything that's going on in the league right now. So, as always, I'm here with Brian. All right, bud. So, week 5's in the books, and week 5 was kind of determined by some pretty weird factors this week, like roughing the passer calls. I mean, we got receivers assaulting camera guys, but that could be a little bit of frustration building up. So, um, number one, what's your overall reaction to week 5, how it went, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, man. I mean, week 5, we just talked about the penalties, man. Derek Carr last night, Brady, the Falcons fans are salty about that. So, um, but we seen, I don't know, a few weeks ago when Tua got, ragdogged to the ground, everyone's worried about safety then and all this crap, but now all of a sudden, they need to let the players play. So it's like, to me, dude, like you got to make up your mind, pick a side and stay on it. Whatever side that is, that's fine. But for me, they're big boys. They sign up to do it, so let them play a little bit. I've been on that side since the get-go. If shit happens, if they get hurt, that's what they sign up for. It's unfortunate. Now, if they're trying to hurt people, that's when you go ahead and get them out of there, fine them, suspend them, then you can go down that road when that happens. But as far as the roughing the passer goes, don't change the rules. They already have made the game safe. Like they've changed so much already to improve the safety of the game. The pass interference, you don't see any big hits downfield anymore. Like there's really touch pass interference calls already, so it's safe. Like injuries, it's a contact sport. These are guys flying around trying to make a livelihood. So it's gonna happen, but that's part of it. That's why they get paid pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think the hit on Tua was a flag. I don't think the hit on Brady was a flag. I don't think the hit on Derek Carr was a flag. I think that's just football, man. These big guys, I mean, they're trying so hard not to just pummel these quarterbacks. So they kind of wrestle into the ground. And yeah, part of that, their head's going to hit the turf, man. It's just, that's part of football. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
Um,
ask Steve Young. Ask some of these guys that have had
yeah.
their bell rung a few times back in the day, dude. Like it's part of it. It's unfortunate. No one wants to see it, obviously, but it's part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to Tua, man? I mean, I think the biggest thing was should he have been playing? And they came back and they said, yeah, hey, he passed his concussion protocol. Like the team did everything right, and they went through the protocol to a T. And they said that he acted the way he acted because of his back, and because of a back injury. And then he was cleared to go back in the game, and he didn't play the rest of that week, but he was cleared to go back the next week and played okay for the first, quarter and a half, and then that hit happened. And yeah, man, is it something you want to see? No. You don't want to see stuff like that. You don't want to see, Naheem Hines come up 3 plays in the game and wobble around. You don't want to see that kind of stuff. But, there was a hit in the Detroit Lion game. That guy hurt his neck pretty bad. He was ambulanced off. Like that's part of the game. And it's not going to be going anywhere. I think going forward, I think a lot of these refs are making judgment calls, and it's bang bang. They have to see, hey, that hit, he swung him to the ground. And then if they saw a replay on it, I think they say, hey, maybe he wasn't trying to intentionally hurt the guy. Let's pick up that flag. And I think that's kind of where we kind of
Right,
may
and that's the
go
thing
now.
is like, dude, like unless it's blatantly obvious, then you have to do something. But dude, like if you swing them right, because initially they said you can't land on the quarterback, you can't drive through the quarterback and land on him with your weight. But I mean that's what you're taught to do. You're taught to wrap,
Mm-hmm.
drive with your legs, and take
Absolutely.
him to the ground. That's exactly how they teach you to tackle. So it's like if you don't do that, well then you swing them and all of a sudden their heads bouncing off the ground. You don't want them to do that. Like to me, you just gotta let them play. Like I said, it's unfortunate it happens, but that's it. That's my 2 cents on it. We're kind of in agreement on that one. Some more reactions to some things. We had your boy Matt Rule just got canned down in Carolina, and the rumors are already swirling with CMC DJ Moore even. They might be in a complete real rebuild mode.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, imagine he goes to Buffalo. I heard Buffalo has already put in an inquiry about him. So, man, seeing him and Josh Allen in the same backfield with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs out wide, it's pretty scary.
So there's a lot of ripple effects here. I mean, there's a lot of waves and stuff that's going to happen because of the Matt Rule firing. I mean, this guy should have been fired last year. He was the worst head coach in football. I mean, I've talked about it over and over and over again. The way he handled last year, he's not a good head coach in the NFL. He's not a leader of men. I don't think he should get another chance in the NFL at all. But now you see the ripple effects. So now CMC has been talking about wanting to get out. Buffalo was making inquiries in the offseason. I'm pretty sure he's on the last year of his deal, or he's coming to the end of his deal. And the Bills are a Super Bowl contender. If they're not the favorite right now, they're top 3, right? So
yeah, Pat Mahomes, and that's going to be
it.
Dude, speaking of that, holy shit, they play this week.
That's going to be the game. They talk about the game of the week. Talk about the game of the year. I think everybody. Football fans, AFC, NFC. If you're a football fan, you're going to be sitting there glued to that game. But yeah, that's going to be one hell of a game. I think that's going to the winner of that game kind of.
It'll be home field advantage. It could down to home field advantage in the AFC. So they have the same record. I think they're both 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a big game, dude. It's going to be a big game for sure. And both quarterbacks are going to want to bring it. Let's keep it low scoring though, huh? Or either way, let's go Chiefs. Let's just keep Josh Allen in check a little bit this week.
Yeah, I mean Patty can go off for 5 touchdowns, but I know you want Josh Allen and Diggs to kind of keep it under wraps. But talk about those rumors. Yeah, talk about the rumors going back to the Panthers and CMC to the Bills. That I think would make them, if they're not already, the favorite to win, right? So. There's that. There's been a little bit of rumor that DJ Moore is getting shopped. Teams like Green Bay, teams like the Chiefs, like teams that might be looking for he's a 1-2 receiver. Like he'd be someone's top target for the most part. He's a good receiver, but they're shopping him. But it sounds like they're in like full just destruct mode and sell mode. Baker's hurt now. I mean, Baker's not a good quarterback anyway, but
the New York Giants, dude, they could use a receiver, and they're 4-1 right now. Go all in, go get DJ Moore. I don't think they have the cap. I don't know how that can work because I know he's getting paid too, and they're already paying receiver. We already don't know. So, but man, that'd be a good one right there. I just thought about that right now.
Yeah, the Jets. Well, the Jets aren't 4-1. I think are they 3-2?
The Giants.
Giants. I was like the Jets. Wait. Yeah, the Giants. Yeah, and that's a good fit. That's a good fit too.
That's what I'm saying. Daniel Jones, dude, he needs a guy out there, dude. They don't got nobody right now. Yeah, so, and they're 4-1. And when's the last time they've been 4-1? The Giants. Oh fuck. So speaking of reactions, Coach of the Year, Dable. I'm hearing a lot of the Cowboys fans are saying Mike McCarthy. That team is talented as all hell, dude. Nobody predicted the Giants. I predicted the Cowboys to be a playoff team. Based off their complete roster. And it's proven to be true. That defense is super legit. I'm not trying to be a Cowboy hater, but what Dayball is doing with the Giants, I mean, come on now. He's got Daniel Jones, and I just mentioned they don't even have a receiver. In a receiver-driven league,
yeah,
they're 4-1 still. Saquon Barkley has, rejuvenated his career. He's looking like honestly, maybe an MVP candidate in the NFC. Dude, so. Yeah, Daboll is Coach of the Year for sure.
He definitely.
So far.
He definitely. I mean, that was a team that is the biggest surprise. It's not even close. Brian Daboll brought a lot of his tendencies from Buffalo as that OC in Buffalo. You can see it. You even see Daniel Jones. I'm not going to say anywhere near Josh Allen talent or anything like that, but you can kind of see how his progressions and how he, looks to run, and you can kind of see him. You can see that impact that Daboll's had on him, right? The resurgence of Saquon Barkley, we talked about it in the preseason. People were sleeping on this guy, and he's one of the top 5 talents in football when he's healthy. That was the big if. Is he going to stay healthy? And he has. And, man, has he proved it. It's fun watching them play, man. I'm glad they just beat the Packers, and, I'm semi rooting for them, right? So I'm happy to see them succeed. But DJ Moore to the Giants, man, that'd be a big lift. And his fantasy relevance would be through the roof if that was to happen. But it just seems
Do
like the
it.
Panthers are kind of now in Bryce Young mode. I mean, they have to be, sell out for the number one pick.
Right. And honestly, like receiver, running backs, what look at the best running backs you could think of. What? Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. Look who their quarterbacks are. The elite quarterbacks. I mean, they got look at a Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then a Devin Singletary with the Chiefs, and I mean, Herbert's lucky to have Eckler, who's a little bit. He's special, obviously, but most of these top tier quarterbacks, you don't build around them by getting them running back. Just ask Jacksonville. They used a first round pick on Etienne, and how's he been doing for 2 years? You build around them by giving them playmakers on the outside. As soon as Jacksonville invested some money into receivers, you actually see them making some improvements this year. That with some coaching, obviously, but it's a receiver-driven league, man. And speaking of receivers, Devonte Adams. We just talked about the Packers, man, and the whole receiver situation. I think they're missing each other a little bit, wouldn't you say? I saw this
I
picture
think Aaron
today.
misses. I think Aaron misses Devonte more than Devonte misses Aaron, and I say that because
Aaron's not going around shoving camera guys or whoever that was out of the way, all frustrated, spiking his helmet in the ground, and he's got a winning record. Like it's a
yeah, but I say this only because as far as stats are driven,
you hate the Packers.
I hate the Packers, yeah, but I think as far, Derek Carr and him are still best friends. I think Devontae's frustration yesterday. I don't condone what that guy did. He even came out and was like, "Oh, I think I might have." No, dude, you blatantly pushed the dude that came in front of you. I was just trying to get a picture, bro, or something. Like,
take responsibility. No, he worked. I think he was working, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like a fan that was trying to take a picture. It was an NFL, like a guy on a fucking salary, and you push
right. Even if he's just cleaning up cable, like picking up cable on the ground, like God forbid he doesn't see you and doesn't get out of your way when you come walking by, almighty Devonte Adams. Tackle if that would have been the homie Jeff. That fool works for ESPN. If that would have been Jeff, you would have got double-legged and then ground a pound. Would have went down.
I definitely think he deserves a personal conduct suspension for that. I don't care how the game went. I understand the last drive, like you thought you may have toe tapped and you would have put in field goal range. I understand that down the field, like you and your own receiver ran into each other and you wanted a flag for something that didn't happen. I get that there's frustrations.
McDaniels, what kind of a play? What are you doing on 4th and 1? 4th and 1.
Josh Jacobs was destroying that line all game long, and they went away from it.
Or even then, run a choice route, something he can get rid of quick. The Chiefs, what they do is blitz. You're going to run a downfield crossing route on the same side.
Well,
in a 4th and 1.
You have to understand in the first quarter that same exact situation, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming Josh McDaniels. The only thing I would blame Josh McDaniels on is going away from Jacobs in the second half. But as far as Devontae is concerned, man, like I get you're frustrated, but you can't act that way. And I can see a game or two suspension based on the personal conduct policy. You cannot, especially when it's on camera, and it's all over the news now. That makes the league look bad. So you can expect the league to step in, and it's not a good look. I know it's the Raiders. It's not a good look, and I think they go on their bye now, so you may not see him until at least week 8, week 9. So I hearing his statement, I think made it worse. You can apologize all you want, but
right,
it's not like you bumped into the guy.
I think because he didn't do a lot of damage, it's just a terrible look, and we all understand he's frustrated and everything. Like especially those of us that have played, we get that, but you still did it, and you got to pay the consequences. So for me, you just give him a game. It's basically a slap on the wrist, a 1-game suspension. You got the bye this week coming up, week 6. So week 7, I would assume he is out potentially, and then week 8 back in there. But even by then, you're probably 1-5 maybe at that point. The Raiders, man, they've been a massive disappointment. We thought that whole division was going to be good. But that division we just mentioned McDaniels, dude. I got Hackett. Speaking of that division, another disappointing team, the Denver Broncos. I've been saying, dude, he's just watching him on the sideline. To me, he's the worst coach. I know your boy Matt Rule. That was the worst. I maybe because they weren't in prime time, and we've seen 3 primetime games of Denver already, and I get to see this guy, and you can just see the body language. He had no idea what the hell he was doing, and Russ is sitting there still listening to this guy. I'm like, dude, Russ, just take over, do your thing, dude. Take the offense in your own hands. You got to do something. But I see him. If this sustains, if they don't, because that's too much talent on that team, and you got no excuse with that quarterback, dude. Like that fool, he ain't falling off the cliff like that. Like, and I don't want to just blame it all on Hackett, but you got maybe 2 weeks left, 3 weeks left, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see him get canned too.
Yeah, now that Matt Rule's gone, dude, he's the next guy that I'm gonna say is probably the worst coach in football. And I know he's only been a coach for 5 games, but decision after decision after decision after decision is just bad coaching. And I think that hire was based around them honestly thinking they could go out and get Aaron Rodgers.
That's all it was.
Yeah, and the fact that didn't happen, I don't think the fit with Russ. It's not Russ's fault, man. Russ, everybody's sitting here shitting on Russ. Russ is just trying to be he's just trying to be a quarterback that, I mean, he's in a new situation, new position, and the fit's just not there, dude. And it's not. And Russ is playing as well as Russ can probably play in a
Russ,
bad scheme
I get he's always been that kind of team player guy. When he first got drafted, he had all this talent around him, all this personality around him. So he just wanted to say the right thing, wanted to do the right thing. Go Hawks! Now he's doing this let's ride bullshit. Like, dude, fuck that, dude.
He's not even doing that anymore.
Player. You're the best player on your team. You're a Hall of Famer. For all I would think, right now he's got the Super Bowl and all he's done in his career. So, like, dude, take over. Tom Brady eventually, he tried to almost use Bruce Arians' offense the first couple of years, and then all of a sudden you saw him start implementing some of his stuff, some of the dinks and some of the dunks that he felt comfortable with. Like, they needed to get this dude on the move. If that's him calling you to sit in the pocket, maybe like Aaron Rodgers used to do, you're not Aaron Rodgers. Like, you can't see the game. Obviously, you see these images of him missing guys just wide open. KJ Hamler, wide open for a game winner. You know what I mean? So, that's not him. He's not the guy. The magic you see out of Russ is when he's, playing backyard football, creating shit, making stuff happen. But either way, getting him on the move, even if it's a read option, give him a read option, an RPO. Play to his strengths, and Hackett obviously ain't doing that. And you got to get him out of there, man. I thought I had the Broncos as a playoff team, and they're obviously not doing that right now.
Now, with everything said and done, man, they're 2-3. They've lost to the Seahawks, they've lost to the Raiders, and they've lost to the Colts. And then they had those 2 victories, but every game they've been in, maybe other than that Raider game, they just look terrible. And Russell's look bad. They are only they've lost 3 games by a combined maybe 10 points or less, which is insane for a team that looks like that terrible. So the defense is obviously keeping them in games.
Yeah, I was gonna say the defense is good. That whole that corner is legit, man.
So the reason why we're going for Hackett's head already is because the reason why they're not 5-0 right now is because of coaching. Plain and simple. They could very easily, with how the games have gone, they could be 5-0 if they had a better coach. And
for sure,
Hackett just can't hack it, dude. That's going to be my slogan going forward. He needs to be out. They need to go find somebody that fits Russ's bill. That's just what it is. So
same with the Raiders. You guys should have kept was it Rick Bisaccia, who's now the special teams coordinator in Green Bay.
Bonehead move too,
dude. So dumb.
You piss off your all the players. Max Crosby, all the players came out in support of Bisaccia, and then they hired Josh McDaniels, and everybody's like, and even Josh Jacobs, we didn't like the hire. Obviously they're switching around, but they're 1-4, and how much of that has to do with the players not being? I mean, how much I dealt with it in Minnesota last year, and just our coaches and our quarterback were not on the same page. And now you see a 4-1 team who's playing pretty well compared to a 1-4 team who has a lot of talent on that offense and defense side of the ball.
Yeah.
How much
No
of that
shit.
is coaching and how much of that is just ownership and just bad management? I would contribute a lot to it. They should have won that game last night. They were kicking the shit out of the Chiefs in Kansas City.
No kidding. You're
And
running back rolling.
and they went away from it and let Patty just do whatever he wanted in the second half, and they lost that game. So
25 yards, Kelsey, 4 touchdowns. I know, but 25 yards, big dog. I needed like 7 more points. I know I was asking a lot, but fuck, dude, I need like 7 more points in my other league.
where's your 5th touchdown, man? Fuck.
Dude, or just like some yards, dude. Have like 50 more yards. Like,
Yeah,
that's what you do. You so much for 200 yards, but he said, "Fuck it, 4 TDs will work." Can't complain. Travis Kelsey, being Travis Kelsey. Another rumor I know that's been starting to circle the wagons. And speaking of wagons, the Bills, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. to the Bills potentially. Back to the Rams. We talked about Chiefs. There's been some teams. And OBJ, he's not going to play for probably another few weeks, but teams are interested. They want to work him out. They want to get him used to the system, so he starts getting the terminology and everything on the same page. So he might be signing here pretty soon. What do you think he's going to sign with, and what do you want him to sign with?
So 5 teams. It comes down to 5 teams to me. I mean, if he wants to win a Super Bowl, he's going to go to Minnesota, but that's just not going to happen. I had to throw that in there. No, it comes down to 5 teams. I think the Bills are one of them. They're probably the Super Bowl favorite. So if you want to win a Super Bowl, have the best chance of the Super Bowl, it's going to be Buffalo. Kansas City is another one. I think that they're in need of a number 1 receiver, a number 1 option, somebody who can spread the field even more, and that would be Odell. I think the Rams is another fit only because he's been there and they're desperate, so they may pay him a little bit more to bring him back. The Packers is one because they're still kind of trying to figure out who their number 1 receiver are. I mean, it kind of differs from Lazard to Dobbs. You know, we'll see.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite one personally. For him and kind of for the team too. Like yeah. I think that's it.
And the one that I'm just going to throw in there, and I've talked about this for 2 years, only because it's home for him.
Don't do it.
And Jarvis Landry's his boy is New Orleans.
That's a good point. Interesting point.
Yeah, you know, and that's his best friend. That he went to Cleveland because of that and all that, and it's the only reason I could see him ended up there. But I don't like the fit there. I don't think that's a good spot for him. But it's just home for him, and there's just little things like that. But one last team, and they're trying to load up even more. It would be the Bucs, you know, and I don't really see. Like Julio's been hurt. He hasn't really shown up yet. He has a 1 game. So if they're trying to get Tommy, you know, happy again and make a run at this thing, just keep blowing him up with weapons, you know. So that would be a dark horse too, you know. So
yeah, that's the dark horse. I would say that's the perfect way to put it on that one because, and it's really just depending on Julio, and that dude doesn't even seem like he's eager to get back out there, dude. Like I don't know if he just signed to ride on for a ring or what. So, and if that's the case, Tommy, he ain't about that. He wants someone that's gonna run some routes and get open, make some catches, and OBJ, you know, he can do that. So, but like I said, I think my favorite is the Packers just because I think he can quickly get on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. Like he's a back shoulder kind of guy, toe tap kind of guy. I could see him and Aaron getting on the same page really quickly. And they're missing Devonte. They're missing him bad, obviously. Dubes is stepping up. Lazard is, you know, does a great job in that offense. But as far as that kind of production that you need from a true wide receiver 1, they just don't have it right now. And OBJ, he's probably not going to be that right away. But another guy that even if he's another guy like on the Dubes and Lazard level, now you got 3 of them, you know, because if one of those guys rotate out, their Watson's been in and out with injury, so their receiving core is is very thin. So throw the fucking ball to Aaron Jones. Get him into the offense. He's your best offensive player. Side note, use Aaron Jones, Packers, you idiots.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had to vent real quick.
I think we're going to find out more about OBJ than we do. Like last year, it was down between the Rams and Packers was the consensus, and he chose the Rams because he thought they had a better chance at the Super Bowl, and he ended up being right.
Yeah. And if he's about that, like you said, if he's about the Super Bowl, then that's easy. My favorite is the Packers, but to your point, like you're about to make, if he wants a ring, we know where that is.
It would be Bills or Chiefs. I think would be the
I
top
think
two.
Buffalo.
Yeah, would be the top two. He wouldn't have to be the number one option in Buffalo. It may not even have to be the number two option in Buffalo. But especially if they land CMC.
Right.
I mean, it's
I
just
think
gonna
he's a
be
more
just a great
complete. Like
option.
you just have Gabe Davis line up out wide and just go deep almost every time, and just have Diggs and OBJ cooking underneath. Like I think that that's
It's bad.
so crazy, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it'd be
bad
bad.
news, you know.
Yeah.
So and then you got that quarterback. So and if they get CMC too, we've heard those rumors. Plus they got Von Miller doing his recruiting. That's his boy. So to me, like if he wants to win, I think that's where he's gonna go because they got the defense too. The Chiefs,
They
they
don't
don't
have
even have Trey White back
they don't have
yet
Trey White
on the
yet.
Bills, but the
They
Chiefs they
did
don't
lose.
have right.
They did lose
They
Micah
lost
Hyde.
Micah Hyde. Yeah,
Yeah.
lost Micah Hyde, but they are going to get Trey White back, so that defense is going to get even better. But so if he wants to win the Super Bowl, I think it's a pretty clear choice if that's the case. Because I mean, it's not going to happen with the Rams. If you're going to the Rams, to me, like to put that much pressure on a guy coming off of an ACL injury, and they're a team that just looks a mess right now. They can't protect Stafford. So to me, if you're going to go there, you're just doing them a favor. They already gave your number away to Cam Akers. They moved on. Time for you to move on. Go to Buffalo. Go to Green Bay. Those are my two predictions.
Well, I think he can go back to 13 if he goes back to the Rams because that backup quarterback's gone now. But no, I think we're gonna find out what he's about, going forward in his career. If he wants the money, I think he goes to LA. I think if he wants the ring, he goes to the Chiefs or the Bills, and if he wants the production, he goes to the Packers. So those would probably be the top four to me.
But the Packers might be the best chance at both. Because because that defense in Green Bay is good, they don't have that dude. And if he's like OBJ, then all of a sudden like he can be the production, and because those other two receivers would complement him very well. And all of a sudden they got the two running backs, they got the quarterback. Like that team, you can see them. I mean, in the NFC is a lot more open than the AFC. So you add OBJ to that offense, and all of a sudden that team to me gets a lot better.
What about one last team? What about him going home to the Giants?
I've heard that. I just
visited them
for him
and
for him at this right, and that's his boy. And I respect that. Side note, I respect that. That dude's on the sideline running up and down still. He just tore his ACL a couple weeks ago. Like that dude's I respect it, man. He's a G for that. But it's the Giants. It's Daniel Jones. Like I know they're 4-1. Like, but in the NFC, are you gonna beat Brady and the Bucks? You're gonna go against who? I mean, it's just Jimmy G and the Niners or Big Bad Kirk. Like, so is that the team you're gonna be going to? You think you're gonna actually win with the Giants? Like, I don't think so. Honestly, the Giants, like, I know they've been winning, but when you look at those teams that I just mentioned, the NFC, even the Cowboys, the Eagles, I didn't mention the
Philly.
NFC Beast. Those two, yeah, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Like, so all these NFC teams, I just don't see the Giants stacking up competitively when push comes to shove and it's crunch time. These other teams will get rolling, like so that's how I feel. So they're kind of out of it, and plus they already got rid of them. So yeah, I said my 2 cents on OBJ, but real quick side note, you mentioned back to 13. Does he want 13 or does he want 3? He wore 3 in college, and he had 13. I know I wonder what he would prefer because I know like they said that they have his locker in there that still has the number 3 on it or whatever. I'm like, how would that? I mean, but he could just go to 13, whatever, But who cares, right?
13, I know in Green Bay is 13 in Buffalo and Green Bay is gone. So he'd be back to number 3 there. But I really don't know. I don't really. I mean, If he's
because
making his
I
decision,
like the
what
call.
number he's gonna
I
wear,
like, yeah. I'm a fan of the single digit number, like the 3 thing, the college number. Like that's pretty cool that they started letting you do that. Like how Lenny rocks number 7 now, makes me want to get a number 7 jersey. I think it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Side note, I don't know. I'm just rambling now.
Yeah, but I think you're gonna find out where he might be on 1-year contracts and helping teams go for Super Bowls from here on out. He might chase money. He might chase the number. I mean, who knows? We're gonna find out a lot about him going forward. But I stashed him in my fantasy league, so I'm kind of hoping he goes to the Chiefs or Bills. I'm praying. I'm a little bit of me is like the Chiefs is perfect.
Chiefs, fantasy wise, yeah, I would think Chiefs or not Packers for your sake, but Chiefs. Oh, Chiefs definitely, because then that gives you a stack. Because you
They
got
gotta give me a
Mahomes.
stack, baby. So that's what I'm hoping. Like back of my mind, I'm hoping it's the Chiefs, but the Bills would be cool too. I think fantasy wise, I mean that's he'll be productive there. Green Bay,
He'd
he'd be
probably go to the
productive.
Chiefs. Now that you just mentioned that, he'd probably end up signing with the Chiefs just because of that reason. Just because you have Mahomes on your fantasy team.
This is my year. So all the luck has been
You
heading
had
my
it.
way, the luck of the Irish. So let's go. Hey, Odell, if you're watching this, man, Patty needs a friend. So but anyway, guys,
His friend is
that's
Travis
all news.
Kelce, and he throws to Travis Kelce every time. So don't even waste your time going there. Get to Green Bay. They need you. Aaron needs you. That's your boy. Or come to Tampa. Fuck it.
Hey, I'll
Get
take
a
a
ring.
Tampa. I don't have anybody from Tampa, so I'm
Get a
good with
ring.
Tampa.
Get a
So
ring, man.
all right,
But I
guys.
mean that's it for week 5 as far as everything we've rumors and everything we got going on. Keep an eye on that CMC thing. That could be some big news down in Carolina. If there's anything we missed, I know we got some Niner fans out there that think that your defense is the best in the league. Cowboys fans, you guys think your team's the best in the league. I'm a Bucks fan. I think my defense is best in the league. I don't know what the hell Michael's thinking. It ain't your
It's the Bills.
Vikings.
The Bills still have the best
Oh,
defense.
the Bills, yeah, the Bills too. Like so there's plenty. They get the number 1 ranked right now. So yeah, so statistically it definitely is. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let us know. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's get into it. Sports season week 6 coming up.